how do DirectOut technologies and Home work together? How do they integrate? And the first question, of course, always is Home. What is that? So does anybody have an idea what Home is, except where everyone wants to go, at least when Monday is gone? Anybody else does know what Home is so far? Well, very good. Okay. So just a quick overview. Home is Lawo's solution to address the typical challenges you have with IP-based systems and infrastructure. So it's addressing, it's a management platform, and it's addressing everything which relates to device management, configuration, network configuration, stream setup, stream connection, health monitoring, and so as such, it is not a product which replaces any existing product, but goes alongside on an upper layer actually to connect and monitor and manage all these different products. And for the Lawo products natively, of course, it's the core of their system infrastructure, but the idea is to integrate as much as possible third-party devices into the home environment. And that does not only relate to devices, but also to upper layer management, like workflow management systems and these things which are typically out there anyway. So Home is sitting in between, as you can just see in a second, and very, very important, and that's what we are going to demonstrate here or to tell you is Home is open to third parties. It's not a closed Lawo ecosystem. So Home covers core services. It's inheriting a communication broker, of course, to communicate with the devices and services. As a software and system orchestrator, basically. It is an inventory manager, and it's a central registry discovery system. So in other words, it's a registration, orchestration and management platform. That's basically what Home is. And to put this in a diagram, we typically divide a complete working solution into three areas. We have the infrastructure with the devices in the network. We have the workflow management systems on top, and something in the middle is often missing with IP-based systems, and that's where Home jumps in. That's the whole orchestration and management layer. So we have interfaces into both directions. And on the infrastructure, as we can see, we have the network devices, third-party gear, and so on. We have the orchestration layer. You can see licensing, config control, routing, network services. It's a growing ecosystem of services within Home, and of course, then these services, these functions are made available from the existing upper layer workflow management systems. Right. So let's jump quickly into some of the functions Home offers. And of course, as always, I encourage you to visit the Lawo booth or the Ravenna booth where we have Home in operation. Of course, at the Lawo space, we have much larger system on display than with a small demo rack at the Ravenna booth, with the benefit that it has all the nice devices which talk Home there. But yeah, it's up to you to make a detour to Lawo or the Ravenna booth. So first of all, a quick view into how I manage my Ravenna rack, my demo rack, which I have on the Ravenna booth. You can see lots of different devices are manageable from within the Home system. Now, some of them have native Home APIs, so they connect through a natively integrated Home API, and others are just connected through NMOS. So Home does not even care about native Home API-based devices, but also with devices who only speak NMOS. Those devices don't even know that they are in a Home environment, right? So what can you do? Well, typically you can sort and filter in larger installations by room, by device type, by network segment, by function. That's all things you can set up there. You can go to individual devices, configure devices like network ports. Where are network ports? You can instantly see some health issues if some would be there. You can configure senders. For example, I have configured 4 audio streams on the Prodigy. And the options you have is everything you want to have available, but you don't have to have. Some of them are pre-filled, but you can address all the configuration parameters from within Home. as you can do within Ravenna anyway, right? And then an SDP is also generated, which is presented to devices which do not support home. So you can use that SDP and connect to other devices which are outside of the home environment, just the manual type of connection which is working there. Then we have the routing, for instance. You can see we have an IP receiver channel inside the Prodigy, and that can be connected to a particular output on the Prodigy side of things. That is all within that single device. It's not yet the full system. You know, every device has basically an input-output matrix, and that can also be controlled through the Home API. Okay, and then some more advanced functions are available, which are not mandatory in the Home API, but can be integrated as well. Of course, the all Lawo devices have that. And that is like, you know, fan status, temperature monitoring, all these kind of things. Right, so routing streams and mapping channels. One of the most important functions inside Home. You can see again by Ravenna Demo Rack, are a lot of different streams available. These streams can again be filtered by devices, by stream type, only video, only audio, only 2-channel streams, 8-channel streams, whatsoever. And then I have possible connection points. These are receiving devices. And then whenever I want to connect an available stream to an available receiver, for example, an 8-channel audio stream coming out of the ROS video mute system to a Prodigy input, I just click here, hit connect, and then the connection is executed and the stream is flowing. As easy as that. You can also connect, oh well, this is another view I just filtered by the sources offered by the Prodigy in order to tell you, okay, we do not always have the whole, you know, lots of streams loading us. We can filter, lots of filters are available. Now I have configured 4 streams originating from the Prodigy. You can see I have here the power core, which is my mixing desk. I also have an RME digiphase, which is just connected via NMOS, right? And so you can see we just can naturally click, connect, done. It shows you how many subscribers are there for a particular stream. So these are only subscribed once. This one is subscribed twice. And well, that's our capabilities with the streaming and routing within Home. And if it comes to multiple stream groups, like, you know, have multiple SDI audio channels accompanied by a video channel, you can group them and connect them with one click to the destinations for ease of use, basically. There are a lot of, you know, different and complex functions in there, which you can use, do not have to use, but make life easier in large system scenarios. Not going into the details of that, just to give you an idea what it's all about. Right, core services, just a very brief, what is core services? Well, you can set up a DHCP address pool. So every device which gets on the network is not automatically admitted to the network, you know, to the working network, to the live network, but it's on the network, it gets configured, will receive addresses from a DHCP pool, you know, all these DNS, NMOS, blah, 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 everything can be configured for the device. And then only if that device doesn't show any issues and you're happy with allowing it to the network, you can click admit, and then it's available on the live network. So you can do a lot of things in a so-called quarantine zone, right? Okay, next thing is the interfacing is very important. So there are various ways to interface with Home, just Home as a, you know, as the core, as in the middle, as the operators, we have the Home API. So devices who want to be part of the Home environment would have to implement a Home API. That is something which is provided by Lawo, but has to be implemented by the device manufacturer. And DirectOut has done that with the Prodigy, and I think with some more devices are on the list as well. So that's what we call the southbound interface through the native Home API, right? There's also a northbound interface. I already mentioned that upper layer systems also can connect to Home and see, okay, what's in the inventory? What does the registration show me? And has ways to talk to the Home system through the northbound API. And there are a lot of different management system manufacturers. Just go over to Lawo and see what is actually available, who actually have a Home integration already implemented. Another way to connect is through NMOS, I mentioned that already. So a device which is exhibiting ISO4, ISO5 interfaces can be connected to home. It doesn't know it's connected to home because we have an NMOS importer there. So the NMOS importer essentially just reads through the NMOS interfaces. And we also have the NMOS exporter. So in other ways, we from the home side can provide to an existing NMOS registry our inventory. So a control system based on NMOS can access devices which are actually controlled from within home, right? So that's a way of integrate devices which do not have NMOS but are integrated into home as NMOS devices into the NMOS system. Okay, then that one is currently something which is nice and in the works. There's a Dante importer and NDI importer as well as an exporter. So Dante devices can be managed or will be manageable. It's not yet released, but will be manageable from within home as well. That is nice. That is surprising. Even more surprising is something I don't have on the agenda for this presentations. Home is not just the orchestration system. Home is also a software-based system which has home apps, which is software processing. And one of the apps which will be released with that is a Dante native device app. So a software-based Dante device, fully based in software. Yeah, that's the I/O interfacing scenario. We have also device proxies, and that is very important for DirectOut because through the device proxies we can make individual device parameters like gain control, filtering, and these kind of things, which are available from that device, manageable from within other devices in the home ecosystem. So these gain control parameters, which are very specific to the device, are not a general part of the API specification, but through those device proxies, we can manage to integrate those device parameters. And here's an example into, let's say, a mixing console. So we have just a very, very easy example. We have some parameter relating to gain, padding, 48 volt phantom voltage level, and so on. And these show up directly in the MC Square user surface. And they are directly controlled through this proxy, device proxy, on the DirectOut device, on the Prodigy, right? So absolutely directly integrated as a native Lawo device. That is also possible. Essentially, Lawo Home is a one-platform approach. It covers management control, physical I/O, processing, human interfaces, professional services. So for the management and control, we have the VSM system, which is an upper layer software system. But again, I said it's not the only one which can connect to home. And in fact, there are many more. We have home itself. We have devices, physical I/O. There we would line up third-party devices, of course, as well. We have the software-based part, which I will have 1 or 2 slides actually coming up for that as well. And then professional services is also part of the home ecosystem. And that is interesting because we have the Prodigy devices, we have the home, but then we need to, process the signals somewhere. A mixing desk, for example, right? Now, that mixing desk can be a fully software-based process now. So we can run a fully fledged MC Square mixing console on a standard off-the-shelf server with full processing power and the same latency and the same processing power by decoupling software from hardware. And the good thing is this can even scale. So depending on the type of hardware we are choosing, we will have more or less available performance power at hand. So in other words, and that's interesting for the DirectOut guys again, if you have a setup with some Prodigies or other DirectOut gear and you need a mixing console, well, just get a small PC like the Minis Forum one, has enough processing power, and you can apply an MC Square app on top of that, and you have a full-fledged mixing desk just running on a Minis Forum A2, including the whole home system and everything. So what you need is the DirectOut Prodigies, a Minis Forum, a few apps from the home environment, and have a full working operating system. That's the idea of home as one platform. And then one more aspect for those who are in larger organizations, and that's the final one actually. Lawo just introduced Lawo Flex, and that's about licensing. Usually, all the big organizations have baseline requirements in terms of number of devices they want to control. So they need to buy a packet of licenses to fulfill their basic needs. But then there are times when you have peaks where you need more devices, like a big sport event, and that only runs for a week or something like that, or just something which runs for a day or for a few hours. Well, in order to fulfill this, you would have to buy with the traditional licensing model, you would have to buy everything up to the most demand, right? And with Lawo Flex, you can now do basic, you can satisfy your basic requirements with a perpetual licensing model, and then you get credits. This is the Flex system. So you buy just credits, and then you can apply those credits whenever you need them somewhere. So day one, you can apply it to a radio podcast session. Week two, you have a sports event, a local one, need more licenses. You just apply them. And it's not that you buy the Flex licenses for the full length. You can even buy them for just a short period, right? And so it's fully dynamic, fully flexible. And that's the whole thing behind the Lawo Flex licensing. And I have a license in my Ravenna demo rack as well. As you can see, not many of them, because we can imagine big systems like soccer championship, Olympic Games, and these are the typical scenarios, at least for the Lawo guys, right? There would be hundreds, thousands of licenses floating around. Right, that's it. I think that's fair enough for today as introduction. Thank you, everyone. Questions, anyone? I'm here. Happy to have you visiting the Lawo booth or, well, just a small Ravenna setup at the Meinberg booth. That's it. Thank you.